Hello, Cupcakes. It's Wednesday. It's a new comic book day. So we've got a stack of books for you. We've got like 9 books from DC and Image. No Marvel or Titan or any other publisher, unfortunately. But these books were bangers. I read all of them and I loved all of them. And I would like to share the internal art with you and also talk a little bit about the books because that's what we do here. It's why we do what we do. Let's check out the video. All right, guys, let's jump into the video. The first we have is Absolute Batman issue number 19 by Scott Snyder, Nick Dragota, and Frank Martin. This is the introduction of Absolute Scarecrow. This is the first issue which introduces him, and he's got like Dragota draws him like really, really evil. So he's got these buttons for eyes. He's got his mouth all wired shut, and this could be a mask. They don't tell you whether it's his real face or a mask, but he looks absolutely dreadful. And he meets these bunch of farmers, and obviously he induces fear. It's still not clear how he does it because he's got these crows flying around, and do the whenever the crows like squawk, and then suddenly people go crazy, right? They're fearful of their life and stuff, and then things start happening, and then all kinds of chaos ensues. And he doesn't wear any shoes, so he walks barefoot and stuff. He's got this suit on. So character wise, like, he's absolutely brilliant. Jonathan Crane also happens to be my one of my favorite Batman villains, and the reason for that is, as a kid I saw the Batman animated series, The Face of Fear. I think that was the episode. And then I read Batman Adventures issue number 3 and 4. If you have not read those issues, go ahead and do yourself a favor and do it, because it is one of those places where Scarecrow releases like a fear gas across Gotham, which basically impacts the brain centers which do pattern recognition. So you people forget basically how to read, and that causes all sorts of chaos. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was fabulous. So I'm really curious to see like how Nick Dragota and Scott Snyder and company deal with Scarecrow over here. And the thing about this book is there are some major revelations. There's even a major character death. But and then and if you know who this guy is, then there's this guy this is his first appearance in the Absolute universe. And then this is Jack Grimm, basically, who's the Joker. And why is he wearing this symbol, R symbol? Like, what does it represent? This issue was a banger. Like, it's got a lot of Bruce Wayne stuff. It's got a lot of Gotham stuff. It's got a lot of Batman stuff. It's got like these amazing action sequences of Batman like driving this Formula One type Batmobile through Gotham, escaping the police and all. So all in all, a brilliant bonkers issue of Absolute Batman issue 19, and it's only gonna get like bigger in issue 20 because the issue 20 covers are already out and they're amazing. So, but that's the first book for you guys. The second book is the DC Next Level book. This is my favorite DC Next Level book, which is Deathstroke issue number 2. This is by Tony Fleecis and Carmine Gian Domenico. That's a mouthful always to say. But what this is somebody has taken everything from Deathstroke. They've taken his weapons, they've taken his money, they've even killed his guy in the chair, Wintergreen. And and there is like a bounty on him. So all these people are trying to hunt him down. So this issue basically focuses on Deathstroke surviving, and going to like one of his safe houses and trying to figure out exactly like who is this person, or who is the one who's put on this bounty for him and taken everything that is near and dear to Deathstroke. And then even when he reaches his safe house, he sees that the safe house is empty. They've cleared the safe house too, and then he's like, oh my god, I have nothing left anymore. And the people who are hunting him, they obviously come there, and there's a big battle. So there's a lot of action in this issue. I really like that. This is what a Slade Wilson book should be. Tony Fleecis 100% gets this character, and the Gian Domenico artwork is sublime, and the action is kinetic. It moves fast. It's very fast-paced book, and like I said, a bit amongst Lobo and Batwoman and Firestorm, this is my favorite Next Level book. But that is, guys, Tony Fleecis Deathstroke issue number 2 for you. Okay, another Next Level book we have is Lobo issue number 2. This is by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona, who's doing the art. So this is essentially what this is Lobo versus Netflix. So Netflix has taken over the bounty business, and because they want to do it as a reality TV show. So they have all they've taken over all the bounty hunter business in across the galaxy, and they've or recruited all these bounty hunters, and they've dressed them up in these stupid costumes, including Lobo, who gets dressed up in this Masters of the Universe type thing, which he doesn't like. And then so they have to go on missions to capture bounties, but only thing is that they have to do a live stream simultaneously when they're doing it. So obviously, what happens is that Lobo has to go after a guy, right? And then he basically shoots this bazooka, to kill that bounty hunter as he usually does. But these guys go like, cut, cut, cut. No, that's not the way you're supposed to do. You're supposed to break the door down, and you're supposed to say this particular things in order to intimidate him. And you can only say frag one time. So they put all these rules on him, and Lobo is not the one to take on rules, right? So he rebels against him. That's what the whole issue is basically all about. There's a surprise cameo appearance also by one of the other DC characters. I will not ruin that surprise for you. But essentially, it's Lobo versus Netflix. That's what this whole book is about. And it's been a fun book. It's been a bonkers ride. So I'll continue checking this out. But this is issue number 2, guys. All right. So we've got all Image books next, starting with Fireborn. So this is by Kurt Pierce and Patrick Mulholland and Franklin Jonas and company, who basically who did like Lost Fantasy, who also writing Lost Fantasy. So this is like so this is part of that Lost Fantasy universe. I have not read Lost Fantasy, but I read this and I was completely comfortable. I understood what is happening and what is going on. So I it does make me want to read Lost Fantasy after I finish this book. But essentially, what this book is like, there is this young dude, and he gets bonded to this magical dragon egg, and then he gets superpowers, and he turns into Fireborn. And now all these people are chasing him. They're trying to kill him. He doesn't know why, but with his superpowers, he has to face them. And we've seen these kind of stories like many a times. So if you've read like Rogue Sun from the Massive Universe by Ryan Farrow, that's another similar kind of type of book. And if you've read like Dark Hawk from Marvel, that's also the same thing. Like there's a teenage guy finds like a trinket, and that turns him into a superhero, and then he's not having the best time in his life, etc. So it's about him becoming the superhero and also trying to figure out his life. So essentially that's what this book is. But I really enjoyed it the way this is done. It's very kinetic. The action was bonkers. There is that magical element that is added to it, that there is this other realm parallel to our own which has all this magic stuff and all, and the artwork is kinetic, so it kind of worked for me. And I am curious to now check out Lost Fantasy and also dive into issue number 2 when it comes out. And this is they did a lot of homage covers for this. So there was an Invincible homage, but I went with the Absolute Batman homage cover. Kind of that spoke to me. So but anyway, guys, this is Fireborn issue number 1 for you. Okay, the next we have is The Thing at the Doorstep, issue number 3. This is by Simon Burks and Billy Roberts on the art. So this is the retelling of the H.P. Lovecraft novel, wherein you have the main character Edward descending into madness after he marries this witch lady, and he discovers the Necronomicon. And he has his friend Daniel here, whom he meets after like certain periods of time. And Daniel, look watching this his best friend, like go from a reasonable person to this like deep dark psychotic individual. And yeah, and that's what the book is about. And this is the third chapter of the same book. And you see like now Edward is completely, he's seeing things, he's seeing monsters, he's recalling things from the other world, the else world of HP Lovecraft. And the artwork is amazing, and if you're into horror books, this is completely totally for you. I am loving it. I think it's like a 5 issue book, so I'll collect all of it, and I'm really enjoying the Thing on the Doorstep, issue number 3, guys. Okay, the next one you have is Narco, which is issue 2. This is by Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard, an amazing creative team. So what this is you've got your main protagonist James, and he basically so there is this girl who he meets at a local burger joint, and then she asks him out on a date, and he says yes, and then she shows up at his door, and somebody kills her. But the problem with James is that James, he's got a severe narcoleptic disorder, wherein if he whenever he's afraid, he faints basically, right? So he's got that going on, and then so the moment the killer kills this Jess lady, then basically he faints. And now he wakes up and he sees that there are cops around his door, and they think that he's the murder suspect. So most of this issue is about him convincing the cops, like he's not the one, he's got this condition, and it's somebody else. So he's also, James is also like a true crime podcaster, researching on murders and stuff. So and now it's all about him trying to uncover who killed Jess and why was she targeted and stuff. And along with his disability, he's trying to figure out, uncover her murder. So it's a murder mystery, and with a flawed protagonist, right? That's what Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard always do best. But that's Narco issue number 2, guys. I'll continue this run. And also, this is like a homage cover to this. So they're doing for all these, there are like 5 issues here, I guess. And for all of these 5 issues, they're homaging Alfred Hitchcock movies. So this is like the homage to the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho movie poster. The first one was for Vertigo, and they'll continue to do that. And I think I'll buy all of these Alfred Hitchcock covers because I like Hitchcock that much. But anyway, guys, that's issue 2 of Narco for you. Okay, the next book is Tigress Island, issue number 2 by Patrick Kindlon and EPHK. So a lot of people thought when the first book came out that this is mostly like a grindhouse 80s type of story, and it is based on the Elsa movies by starring Diane Thorne. You can check more about that in my previous video. But what this is these bunch of women are kidnapped and they're thrown on this island, and they're supposed to act as sex slaves, right? So that's what it is. And they have this dominatrix kind of lady who is basically like the jailer of this island, right? She's the warden, and she's captured them, and she's responsible for their grooming and everything. And and these women have to figure out a plot and band together, and then figure out a way out, right? So that's what essentially what the book is about. Now, people thought that this is going to be very gratuitous and explicit and has a lot of shock value, just like those 80s grindhouse movies were. But I think Patrick Kindlon kind of realized that that's not what he wants to do. He wants to focus more on the camaraderie and these women being put in this difficult situation, and how will they figure out a way out. So he focuses more on character development and growth rather than the salacious part of it. And I appreciate that, right? Because even I thought that going into this is going to be R-rated and completely expositionary, but it's not, right? It's not as much as there are like scenes where like women are depicted into like skimpy clothing and stuff, but nothing gratuitous, nothing like superly like 100% like nudity or anything in this, at least now until issue 2. And I love EPHK. I've read his other books too, and he's a great artist. So yeah, I'll continue to check this out. But this, guys, is Tigress Island issue number 2. All right, then we have GI Joe issue number 21. So GI Joe issue 21 from the original series by Larry Hama was a silent issue. So Larry Hama was under a lot of deadlines and he had to deliver a story. So he decided to deliver a story without any dialogue because that saved him time. He just had to do the art, right? And that became like an iconic thing where he saves like Scarlet. Snake Eyes is basically goes on a mission to save Scarlet, and this is reminiscent of that because this is the new series by Joshua Williamson and art by Tom Riley, and they also kind of like do the same thing because this is issue 21. And so again, it's a Scarlet centric issue. So again, the main plot is to extract Scarlet, who's basically in the Arashikage clan along with Jinx and Storm Shadow, and she's in this temple and she's trying to steal this sacred ornament. But what happens is that Cobra arrives because they are also after the same ornament. And then there is a big fight. You've got the commander versus the Arashikage versus Jinx and Scarlet thrown into the mix. And you've got Storm Shadow. And if you're a Storm Shadow fan, so they're after this purple sword. And then you got the Blind Master, you've got Storm Shadow. And if you like action in your books and no dialogue, this is 100% book for you because again, this is kinetic, this is bombastic, this is really fast paced, and you'll be done within like 5 minutes of this book. But I still recommend it, like if you're somebody who likes GI Joe and all these characters, definitely check this out. And Tom Riley art is sublime on this. But that anyway, guys, is GI Joe issue number 21 for you. All right, the last book we have is Battle Beast issue number 8. So again, you've got some Viltrumites thrown in. This is Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley on the art, but this is continuing the Battle Beast tale where he's landed on this planet and he needs to battle the two supreme lords of the planet. So you've got this is Juggernaut and you've got Colossus, the brother and sister duo, and Battle Beast needs to combat them with his mighty sword, right? And again, kinetic book, not too many words. There is dialogue, of course, right, by Robert Kirkman, but the art is where that holds this whole story together. And it is bombastic. It is amazing. I haven't been bored with even a single issue of the second arc. Like again, it's super fast paced. Like it's accelerating at the speed of light. And I really appreciate what Kirkman and Otley have done. And they've brought us back to the Invincible universe. There's an Invincible game out, and there is an Invincible TV show The season 4 of the animated show is also out. So yeah, if you're an Invincible fan, definitely check this out. If you're a Battle Beast fan, definitely check this out. If you just like good comics, just check this out. But that, I guess, is the last book, guys. And by this time, this is like a before you buy, where I show you a little bit of the books and show you the bit of, tell a little bit about their story, and also show you the internal artwork, so that you can decide like which book out of these is something for you and you would like to buy, right? Purchase it. And but guys, if you stuck till the end, thank you for joining, thank you for looking at this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit on that notifications bell and everything. And if you have any questions on any of these books, please drop a chat. I will be more than happy to answer it. But that's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.